Hi guys, Melinda Fargas here. Welcome to Weekly Travel Updates. Do you see what I put up there? Wow, my brother is 60 years old today. He's a good brother. He's a really good brother. We're going to see if he gets my message to pop on and so I can introduce you to him. But, he shares this day with Evel Knievel. I didn't know that, David. I know that Chris will let you watch it or get you to watch this later. Also, David's email is Ziggy. So you also share your birthday with Ziggy Marley, Bob Marley's son. Okay, it sounds pretty cool. Today in history. All right, so today in history, 1933, Albert Einstein arrived as a refugee from Nazi Germany. In 1979, Mother Teresa was awarded the Peace Prize. And in 1989, Northern California had a 6.9 on the Richter scale earthquake, and it had over $6 billion in damage and killed 63 people. Wow, a lot went on this day. Well, before I forget on this day, because I forgot to tell you last week, or I didn't really stress, we are doing a raffle, a reverse raffle, if you've ever heard that. So you get a steak dinner and a raffle ticket. There will be $10,000 given away. A few years ago, I was one of the last four because the last person standing gets $4,000. And the last four of us decided we would just all split it and take $1,000 apiece. Sounds good to me. Anyway, okay, so we're selling those raffle tickets, and we're selling it because Cummings High School is getting ready to go to the Sugar Bowl, and they're wearing sweatpants. And don't you want us to look better than our kids marching in the Sugar Bowl from Burlington, North Carolina in sweatpants? So this money will help give them a uniform for the Sugar Bowl. All right, well, let me tell you what's going on. A new airline report is out, and hate to tell you, but airline cancellations have doubled this year over last year, just between January and June. This study was just released, but it was ended in June. Over all of last year, it is up double. More than 55% of the flights are delayed. So just one of the things that you should consider when you're planning to go on a cruise, sometimes we go the day before. If you have a wedding that you need to attend and it's imperative that you're there, well, you may consider going the day before. A graduation, anything, even a big conference, because especially where there is high traffic. So this was the week that after 35 years of sailing, the Carnival Ecstasy went away. John Heald who's the Carnival ambassador, he was on board. And there was even a raffle of things, like a life preserver that had Carnival Ecstasy on it. There were several things that were auctioned off. There was also one of the YouTubers that I watch. He had a picture of this guy taking stuff off the wall, like, a placard on the wall, and he was pricing it off, and his wife was standing right there. It didn't get their faces, but you know who you are. It really wasn't anybody we know. Okay, so let's see. But this ship has been sailing for 35 years. I remember when it came out, I had already moved home from California, and I had just come to Burlington, and our Carnival rep came around to see us, and said, we have this new ship. I want to know in the comments how many of you have been on the Carnival Ecstasy. It's a fantasy class ship. And, it's the 6th one that has gone away since 2020. The 6th fantasy class ship. Now, there's lots of reasons, but it was still a really good ship. Anyway, tell me if you've been on it. Just a Y for yes or an N for no, and I'll know what you mean. Okay. I mentioned in our meeting this morning that there are some masks required again. Remember masks? Well, this time it's not COVID. This time, the Holland American Rotterdam, which is selling its 150th anniversary sale of the same itinerary from Rotterdam to the U.S., it had cases of norovirus on it last week. And because of that, for 15 days, our friend Don from Don's Family Vacations, I've mentioned him several times. I watch him frequently. He's on this sailing for 15 days. They have to wear a mask. Oh, that's so hard. I wouldn't want to do that. I don't want to do it for 7 days, much less 15 days. Okay, I have a new insider tip for you. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but I know I have lots of Starbucks friends, and I want to know if this is valuable. So again, if this is valuable, please say valuable or just don't. But Starbucks and Delta Sky Miles have teamed up. So if you link your Starbucks card with your Delta Sky Miles card, you will earn points on every transaction. Maya Fargus, do you hear me? We're going to fly Delta to Alaska, so you need to hook yours up, baby. Okay, so if you do this by December 31st, you're going to get 500 extra miles. That's pretty good. The best trip that I found a deal for was 1,250 miles, and that was round trip to New York. Don't find that very often, but that's a really good deal. It's worth 500 miles. You guys go do it. Okay. I want to know one thing. I want to know if I'm headed in the right direction. So I want to know what you guys think of content. It was one thing when their protocols were changing each week, and I was able to give you something new each week. Right now, things are pretty flat. Right now, the easiest ship to get on is Norwegian Cruise Line. No testing, no qualms, no anything needed. And the America Queen on the Mississippi. Those two, you could walk right on. Doesn't matter who you are, almost, you could get on. But, as for some others, they're having some challenges. And honestly, when we signed that cruise contract, or you didn't have to sign it, when you make that payment, it's as if you're signing the cruise contract that says that they have the right to change things based on the captain's request. And they can. Like the new Carnival rules. Did you know that you can be fined $500 if you misbehave on a Carnival ship? And did you know that you could be fined $50 for going out, setting your alarm at, 3 o'clock in the morning? I would never do it at 3, 5 o'clock in the morning, and running out and putting towels down on several chairs, putting these cute little towel clips on them and running back to your room. Well, no. No more chair hogging. Carnival is going to put these little cards out on your chair, and it's going to have the time on it. And in 40 minutes, they're going to come and take your stuff away. And good luck getting those cute little dolphin towel clips back. They're just going to take it away because people do this and then people don't use it. Sometimes people sleep in till 10 o'clock. Good gracious. So it's not going to happen anymore. And you're going to be subject to a $500 fine if you are caught roughhousing, fighting, pretty extensive list. Go look at carnival.com. All right, one story I read about this week really intrigued me because while I would love to do each and every one of your guys' travel business, I do a lot of it, but there are some people who I know who like to book their own travel, and that's cool. After you book it, sometimes I get to take it over, and some of you don't know that I can, but I can, particularly if it's within 7 days. But anyway, when we take things over like that, it gives you access to us watching your cruise for you, us seeing if prices go up or down, being able to offer you new promotions that are out because you may or may not watch it as closely as we do. But this week, an insurance deal came up and some clients got on a cruise, not my clients, but I read this, got on a cruise, and on day 3, the husband was tested for COVID and tested positive. Now, there's not testing ship-wide, but if you're sick and you're running a fever, they're going to test for COVID. They quarantined him, and they told her she could go about the ship, let them know how she felt going on. And 3 days later, she got a knock on her cabin door, and they tested her, and she tested positive for COVID. So, any good travel agent will offer you travel insurance. We just hardly don't sell anything without it these days. But did you know that their travel insurance is denying coverage for their days miss? Why is that? Because they were not tested with a proctored test. It was just a rapid test. There's no documentation of it, and they're denying their claim. I'm telling you this because if you have a trip coming up and you may get sick along the trip, it doesn't matter what kind of trip you're doing. If you get sick along the trip, make sure that you have a proctored test, meaning a test that you check in online. Somebody's watching you open it. They're watching you take it. It takes about 30 minutes, costs about $30. But this was the first instant I had heard where the insurance company is denying a claim because it was not a proctored test. There's no way to prove when that test was taken, when the results were provided, who they were provided to. Just too many ifs. So don't do that. Speaking of insurance, I'll just share with you, there is an annual policy that I sold this week and can sell it to you and your spouse or you and your friend if you live in the same residence. It's $516 is the least expensive. And it's going to be an annual travel policy. It's going to cover you for like emergency medical on a trip. Anytime you're more than 100 miles from your home, it's going to cover you for lost baggage. If you're driving, if it's a drive trip and you forgot it, well, I'm not sure how we're going to prove that one. But anyway, for lost baggage, for dental, for dismemberment, for loss of use, like if you had to rent a vehicle, lots of things are out there and it can be covered for a very reasonable amount. See, now Trey and Maya are more than 100 miles away. So if I took this, or if you often go to the beach, or if you often go to the lake, this policy will cover you anytime you're more than 100 miles from home. That's very important. It's like one of the best price annual trips that I have seen. If you're interested, just give me a buzz. Okay, told you about that. I watch many crew members' blogs through the week because crew members tend to tell you exactly what's going on, and you get a little bit more insight, and it takes you down a rabbit hole to go listen more about this cruise or what incident went on this week or yada, yada, yada. I even track roll calls. Like if you're going on a specific ship, you can go find a roll call on Facebook, like Carnival Horizon, January 18th, 2023. And you will find people who will also find this roll call, and they will be people who are going to be on that same ship. Now, be careful. Some people have used this for not great reasons, but generally speaking, it's a great way to know what kind of groups are coming on board. So I was asked this weekend, a customer came in, he said, so we've already booked our trip and we don't need travel insurance. We don't ever do travel insurance. I said, okay. He said, well, how else could you help us? And I said, well, do you watch your cruise pricing? And he said, you know, I can't say that I do or I don't. If I see a special, yeah, I'll go look at it. I said, well, do you have somebody who can tell you about ports before you get there? Like, you know, I save people money because of the experience of having cruised to these places and just telling you things that you can do that don't cost you money. For instance, there's no excursion in Grand Cayman now for less than $50. And that one's just a bus ride. Anyway, I tell my clients, don't do an excursion. Get off the ship with a mask and a snorkel. Walk 50 yards to your right. Make a picture at the big wooden sign that says Grand Cayman, but then walk 50 yards to your right, and there is a dive shop called Eden Rock. Well, right behind Eden Rock is a beautiful, beautiful coral reef. And there are so many fish that you could see. You could feel comfortable doing it. It is in waist deep water. You don't have to take a boat out anywhere for people who are, apprehensive about going on snorkeling trips. This is something anybody could do. Wear water shoes because you'll walk out across coral. But there's a pathway that you walk out to. But it is just right there off of the pier. So same thing. If you're going to Nassau, I have so many clients say, there's nothing to do in Nassau. I've already been to Nassau a dozen times. Well, let me tell you what we do. We get off and we take a water taxi. And that water taxi takes you over to the Atlantis. It's not very expensive. It's something different. And there are other beaches around that area. So it's less expensive than going into town and doing shopping. Although I will tell you that if you're going to go into town, make sure you stop at the visitor center because they have a very cool map and it has coupons for different things around town. One of which is $1 off the $2 bus ride to take you to the other side of the island, which is another place that I like to go if I don't go to the Atlantis. Okay, on and on. I can tell you many, many things, but that is one of the things you get is you get us. You get a travel agent who's likely been there and done that, can tell you things to do that would save you money and save you time and resources. And also maybe save you of some pitfalls that even we have fallen through. So, okay, let's see. My brother did not show up. Shoot. I bet that they've taken him out to dinner. Oh, I have to tell you one more thing. Then I'll let you go. Let me tell you the stock prices right now. Carnival is down to $7.13 a share. Royal Caribbean is still doing good, 44.61. and Norwegian at $13.03. Now, this was Friday. I should have read the numbers today and given you a more updated price. But my point being, all of these cruise lines have got shareholder discounts. Carnival just updated theirs, so I had it handy and I thought I would share it with you. Do you know if you have 100 shares of Carnival, 100 shares of Carnival, for any cruise you get on, you get a $50 onboard credit. If you're on a cruise that is 7 nights or more, it's $100 onboard credit. And if it happens to be a 14-day or longer, you get $250 onboard credit. So the next person that comes in and wants to book a long Carnival cruise, I think I'm going to sell them some Carnival stock first. Anyway, all right, guys. I hope you had a good time tonight. Please put in the comments. Tell me what you would like to see. Are more tips better? Thank you, Sherry and Norma and Teresa, for commenting tonight. Mom's out working at the, oh, no. She's out at a planning meeting for Burlington as they're getting ready to expand near the Burlington airport. So, ciao, guys. Love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your business. And remember, without a travel agent, you're on your own. Ciao.